On day 9, Bird began to break his shackles. It was time to bust out of this cage. It took time, for the cold steel was tightly fastened around his ankles. Then it happened. The rattle of broken chains and Bird took off. The guards were absolutely stunned. Bird was on the run and had made it through the front gate. Bird ran as fast as he could. But unlike the guards, there was one hot on his tail. The leader of the slave traders was running Bird down himself. Let me tell you, the wasteland is cruel. My legs don't work. I'm still cute though, but also dying. I'm PC, your tiny exoskeleton-clad protagonist, and this is day 1 of my 100-day journey through Kenshi, a world where survival is a suggestion and repair kits are apparently mythical artifacts. Today I begin my monk training. I seek peace, enlightenment, and functioning limbs. But after one bad encounter with the local wildlife, I spent the next 2 days crawling through the wasteland like a spiritual Roomba. Now, without further ado, let day 1 begin. I started off hearing a rumor about some cats to be made, so I ran for it. I was unfortunately stopped at the gates by some monks, guardian monks in fact, checking to make sure I didn't have contraband, which I didn't, so they ended up letting me through. And on the outside, I discovered a battle, and being the battle monk that I am, I of course joined in. After a grueling, heartfelt battle, I had won. I did end up getting some minor injuries, but that should be fine. Wrong. I was ambushed, and then I went down. And then these creepy crawlies came crawling up out of nowhere. Oh my god! Fortunately, my monk brethren came to the rescue, slaying the beast. And although they left me there to die, I did find the opportunity to grab some more loot. After securing the loot, I began to crawl my way back home. Perhaps inside I could find a repair kit to save myself. And let it be known, the crawling upstairs with a broken body is incredibly difficult. The truth is, my fellow monks did try to heal me, but being as I'm a robot, they were unable to. I really should have done what my papa said and been a farmer monk. Upon entering the gates once more, I thought of it. Maybe the bar has some repair kits for me, so I made my way there. It was an extremely long crawl. Once inside, I made my way over to the barkeeper. Please tell me you have repair kits. The barkeeper had many things, but a repair kit, sadly, was not one of them. So I sold my wares and had to leave. On my way out of the bar, I attempted to make a friend with a fellow monk. I asked them to join my team, and they told me I could off. Slightly disheartened, I continued my journey to find a repair kit. Maybe I will find it someday. Next, I made my way to a clothing store. Perhaps they will have a repair kit, so I crawled my way in, hopeful in my venture. After yet another disappointing venture, I make my way down the sorrow steps to contemplate my next move. I even attempted to go to the pet store. Yet another failure in the books. Maybe this nifty shop will have it. Mother... I'm fine. Everything's fine. Let's just go explore this tower now. Up the stairs we go. What will we find? Nobody knows. Nothing. I found nothing. So let's just go over here. God, help me. God, in fact, did not give me any help. In fact, I found out I wasn't a true monk yet. However, during this conversation, I was accepted as a true monk. My home is truly my home now. Next, I attempted to sleep on this here repair bed. Papa said it would work if needed. Papa was also a chronic liar. So I attempted to make yet another friend. And you probably know how that went. Then, while waiting outside of the traveler's store, this happened. He's healing me! He's healing me! Yes! Pardon my outburst, but I am quite excited. I'm back on my feet, baby. Now, that ends it. for episode 1. And episode 2 will feature PC making his first friend. I'll see you there, you sexy you. Last episode, our robotic fox hero barely survived. This time, he finds a repair kit and loses everything. Welcome to days 4 through 7 of our 100 days in Kenshi. This is the rise of Bird and the fall of PC. We finally found a repair kit. Took us 4 days, 1 monk miracle, and a bone dog ambush. But PC's luck was turning, or so we thought. From looting slave traders to meeting a swords master named Bird of Passage. This episode had it all, until the Beak Things came. This is episode 2 of our 100 days in Kenshi, and it's the last time you'll see PC alive. Right after finding a repair kit, I came out into the wilderness and discovered this fella. I challenged him to a duel. PC was doing well, until his arm was made into metallic Swiss cheese. After a short, grueling battle, PC fell hard. After some time of being unconscious, PC finally awoke. And before healing up, PC decided to head home. It's safer in the monk village. And instead of using my own precious repair kit, I had this monk do it. Once again, PC sat down and attempted to make some new friends. Even one would do. However, he failed. Saddened by his lack of friends, PC took to the fields. It always calmed his nerves. And it also reminded him of his papa. While tending to the fields, PC noticed a commotion outside of the gates, so he went to check it out. Upon arrival, PC found a slave merchant battling a bone dog. So naturally he kicked in. After securing victory, PC secured some loot, one of which was a sword worth 30,000 cats. After yoinking the rest of the loot, I headed home. After a short rest, it was time for a big adventure. It was time to explore the wasteland. After some time exploring, PC could see in the distance a city, so he began to sprint across the wasteland toward the city. And then some evil bone boys began chasing him across the expanse. Run, PC, run! After outrunning the bone boys, I finally arrived at the city, and PC was nervous. Fortunately, PC's anxieties proved wrong, and the city was actually perfectly safe and prosperous. While in the bar, PC talked to virtually everyone there, and well, nobody wished to be his friend. Sad days indeed. That was until PC met a wandering swordsman named Bird of Passage. The pair quickly became friends, and eventually PC learned of Bird's debt. 10,000 cats, in fact. And PC paid it off, freeing Bird forever. Thus, Bird joined the group, and PC gained a friend. I also low-key learned that Bird's sword is worth a lot of cats. Now, I know what you're thinking, and no, I did not sell it. No, I did not indeed. I really didn't. But we did go look at armor. No, we didn't find anything worth getting. After perusing the shops, the duo went on an adventure through the wasteland. I wonder what they'll find. They found danger, so they began to fight for their lives. The Bone Boys spanked us with their teeth and then ran away. After much time passed, Bird awoke and hobbled over to heal PC. Eventually, PC got up, and together with Bird, they began to heal each other. That sounds weirder out loud. Afterward, the pair headed back into the city. A little rest and relaxation was in order. While Bird slept, PC perused, looking for some new items or gear. After a long nap, Bird was finally ready to go, so off they went on yet another adventure. Oh, look, a monk under attack. Let's go over there, away from the attack. Arriving at the bone fields, we saw a mammoth creature in the distance. So we went to say hi. We only wanted to look at it. Look how big it is. A moment later, the pair found themselves in a cinematic battle, one where they were actually winning. Boom bop beep, boom bop pow. The battle raged on for minutes and minutes and minutes, with me on the edge of my seat. Then, at long last, victory was secured, and the loot gathered in full. Afterwards, the pair once again healed up. You never know what comes next. What came next was being chased home by Beak Things. Few of them, in fact. The war of Monk Mountain had begun. Monks versus Beak Things. And within seconds of the war's start, PC had been killed by a Beak Thing in just a mere seconds, leaving Bird alone to face the remaining Beak Things. The war took many monk lives, but saw the monks victorious in the end. Due to his injuries, Bird returned to the village alone, but would soon return for his fallen brother. On day 6, Bird finally was able to retrieve PC's body and take him home. PC was more than metal and code. He was grit, loyalty, and glitch-born courage. From scavenger to savior, he stood against the chaos and died, protecting only home he'd ever known. Now he rests beside the god of monks. His journey ends here, but the story doesn't. Bird of Passage, the swordmaster with nothing but debt and dreams, now carries the torch. Kenshi won't go easy on him, but legends are forged in loss. Farewell, PC, the desert remembers. A city shimmers in the distance, silent, mysterious, promising adventure. Bird of Passage, our kind survivor, stepped forward with hope in his heart. What he found was cold shackles. Slave, survivor, fugitive. Episode 3 begins where hope ends. Wish PC could have seen this location. PC would have loved it. In hindsight, I realized that PC would, in fact, have hated this city. For you see, this was the home of slave traders. A giant organization that does, well, as their name suggests, they sell slaves. And their eyes were now on Bird. And now standing in front of Bird was a man with a massive mace and an evil glint in his eye. He had already managed to injure Bird's left leg. So he did the only thing he could do. He ran as fast as he could, heading toward the monk village. Bird ran with all of his might, but with an injured leg. Would it be enough? To make things even worse, Bird took a tremendous shot to his stomach and was forced to fight for his freedom. However, escape was impossible. Bird was placed in shackles, his gear stolen. Everything seemed incredibly bleak. But then Bird's captor suddenly ran off. Stunned by this sudden miracle, Bird began to hobble his way back to Monk Mountain. His home and freedom were so close, and by the grace of the gods, he made it. From here, rest was in order, both mentally and physically. The hardest part to cope with was the loss of his prized sword. Perhaps one day it'll be re-obtained. Perhaps one day, revenge. Anyway, revenge would have to wait for now. In the meantime, Bird headed out for some shopping. It reminded him of PC and their time together. He missed his friend dearly. During this shopping trip, Bird bought a map or two and a larger carrying pack. Right after, Bird went to the fields. This, too, reminded him of his best friend. This time of reflection allowed Bird to free himself from the mental instability of his capture. It allowed him to refocus. Satisfied with himself, Bird once again headed outside of the safety of the village. Here, Bird would meet up with some fellow monks who were patrolling outside of the village. Bird and the patrolling monks walked everywhere, seemingly everywhere anyways, and as if by fate, the patrolling monks headed toward the slave trader city. And then, in the blink of an eye, the monks laid siege to the slave trader city. Bodies, loot, and repair kits scattered, ironically, everywhere. And it was here that greed took over. In an absolute frenzy, Bird began taking as much as he possibly could. The downside is he was becoming a little heavy. The war was going well. The loot was plentiful. The winds of change were coming. And it was here, while Bird was guarding the gates, that the winds of fate would finally shift. While watching a newly freed slave escape, Bird suddenly took massive damage. Now standing before Bird was an injured, looted, naked guard? Yeah, he was there. He was extremely powerful, and he was ready to kick our... And within a split second, Bird was dropped. And now for the slavers, this was a golden opportunity. This was a slave who had come home. Bird may have been back in shackles. The battle lost, but he was still alive, still breathing, and regaining freedom. That would always be the goal, but for now, Bird was caged. During this time, Bird had seen many things. Swamp raptor attacks, raids, other slaves attempting to escape. I genuinely hope they made it out. War raids. He even found some of the monks who had been captured alongside him. And on top of that, this place was absolutely massive, far bigger than I had originally thought. And there were battles going on all over it, almost at all times. But none of that really mattered though, because Bird was stuck in his bird cage. However, on day 9, Bird began to break his shackles. It was time to bust out of his cage. It took time, for the cold steel was tightly fastened around his ankles. Then it happened. The rattle of broken chains and Bird took off. The guards were absolutely stunned. Bird was on the run and had made it through the front gate. Bird ran as fast as he could. But unlike the guards, there was one hot on his tail. The leader of the slave traders was running Bird down himself, and through some miracle actually managed to outrun him, making it back to Monk Mountain. Now safely back in Monk Mountain, Bird took some time to rest and sell what little wares he had. Off screen you didn't see it, but Bird might have stolen some gizmos and gadgets from the Surgeons Guild. But, you know, it's fine. He already had a bounty on his head, so that surely won't come back to haunt him, right? And due to the monks being slightly poor, Bird was unable to sell his wares anywhere here due to the fact that they were worth too much. So Bird set out, intent on selling his wares. He needed a place with more funds to give him. His chosen location, you ask? The city in which he met his deceased best friend in. Feeling extremely comfortable, Bird quickly made his way inside. Before doing anything else, Bird headed over to sell his stolen wares. His wares. After another stop or two and some shenanigans, it was time to go to the bar. But first, look at the unnecessary purchase that I made. It is large and totally doesn't make up for the fact that I lost my beautiful sword. I'll find it eventually. Now, to the bar. Remember the bounty on my head and also the stolen goods that I recently sold? The police force here is very angry, and suddenly the entire city wants me dead or imprisoned or things, and it's dangerous here. It's time to run away. The new problem is Bird is carrying an incredibly heavy weapon. It might be time to ditch it to try to escape. So that's what was done. Run, Bird, run! Bird made it outside of the city walls, but was tagged by a few arrows. In his attempt to escape, Bird was once again knocked unconscious. Then he was placed within a cage once more. Not as a slave this time. He would eventually be freed after serving his time. And thus, this is how we end Day 10. In a prison cell, waiting to serve out our sentence. But prisons, at least this one, won't last forever. Bird of Passage lost his arm, and Meep lost a leg, and I absolutely lost my sanity. Welcome back to Pixilated Chronicles. I hope you've had plenty of snacks, because days 11 through 35 are gonna be absolutely hard to digest. Now, without further ado, let's get into episode 4. This episode starts off with Bird in jail, just like it ended last episode. But we're gonna do a montage of the jail time, that way it doesn't take 16,000 years. So, here we go.
We start with chaos, crowns, and flame. No script, no rules, just heart and name. Survival's not a game we play, it's the myth we live day by day. From Peabody's trench to Spartan skies, we rise with memes and battle cries. Every glitch, every fall, we turn it into legends call. Pixels never die, we fight, we laugh, we cry.
After many days, considering it is now day 20, Bird was released, finally. Freedom is ours once again, and yes, this took many hours in real life. Okay, maybe not many hours in real life, maybe like an hour of full speed fast forward in game, but still, that's a long time to just be sitting there waiting to get freed from jail. Now freed, Bird headed toward the local bar. It was time to have some refreshments and to speak to somebody other than his jailmates. Bird, of course, had nectar. He's not a hummingbird. Anyways, Bird had much to drink with his new friends. After, he started to peruse, and even bought some food. You never know when you're gonna get hungry after all. After finishing up at the bar, we headed over to some other merchant locations. We needed to peruse a few more items. Perhaps it's time to own a home. From here, the selling of certain items was needed. More money was required, potentially to buy the said home. I didn't remember how much they cost, so who knows? After spending much time with the other merchant, I came to this one. I wanted to check out some armor. And in fact, I found some incredible armor that I did purchase for myself. Did I spend some of our house money? Yes. Do I regret it? Yes. Then it was time to head over to the house showing. It was time to purchase a home. Upon arrival, it was discovered that the home was affordable. It was only 32,000 cats, and we had more than enough to purchase it. So, that's what we did. And the first of the furnishing for our new home was a research bench. It would be needed for all future projects. Though I do admit I did forget to buy building materials. So that's what I had Bird do. Purchase the building materials, and then we would begin fully furnishing our new home. After returning home with the building materials, Bird began fully constructing the research bench. Bird then slapped down a light. Some time was spent remembering the basics of the research bench and how those mechanics work. I really couldn't remember because it had been so long since I last had used this part of the game. That says a lot about me, I think. Even still, it was figured out, and training dummies were researched, which was fantastic. We absolutely need to get stronger so we don't lose an arm. Researching was fun, but now it's time to build some of the things that we actually researched. But first, we needed to go get some more materials. However, we ran into a bit of a problem. You see, this shop was actually closed. It's nighttime. I attempted to break in by accident. I thought the door was open. I did not think that through at all. Honestly speaking, this is what I deserve. I mean, it was an accident, but who's to say? This is Kenshi, and Kenshi is dangerous, and danger is this world, and, yeah, I'm in jail again. Cue the next montage. It's day 24, and jail time is up. This looks important. I'm sure this won't come back around in the future at all. Anywho, so Bird returns home. It's time to get some rest and maybe a little work done at the house. The first thing on the list, to complete our storage. No, you didn't see this earlier, but it's there. Once it was completed, we began filling it up. Bird was ready to get some of the stuff off of him. Afterward, I really wanted to return and visit this location where the fighting was going on, and what I found inside was terrifying. What you are seeing is in fact a Beak Thing inside of this house. How did it get in there? And that's what they were fighting. Overall, not my problem. But what I do see is a looting opportunity, and like a crow, I began taking everything of value. I mean, I needed some new swords anyways, since my favorite one was stolen in the past. Bird then swiftly returned home. We needed to store the loot. Bird then returned to loot the rest of everything. But first, we had to drag the body of the Beak Thing out. Note, it is only unconscious. Bird then returned to looting. We needed to get every single valuable item available on the field. But the prized find was this beautiful, massive blade. Look at it. Oh my gosh. After a quick loot depot, it was back to yoink it. It was now mine. All looted up, it was now time to leave. But you see, the power of fate and karma is incredibly strong. Thus, the guards noticed that I was wearing or carrying some of their fallen comrades' gear. They gave chase, and suddenly I lost an arm. Knowing that I was going to go down, I decided to have Bird throw all of the loot out of the inventory. That way the guards wouldn't take it. And I also knew they were going to take down the Beak Thing, so I shouldn't die. And just like that, we are once again in a jail cell. Cue yet another montage.
We blend the pain with comic gold, a bedtime crown, a saga told. From Kenshi dust to Fortnite dreams, we build our world in silent screams. This is for the ones who feel too much, who rise from ruins out of touch. We turn our scars into design and make the broken feel divine. Pixels never die. We fight, we laugh, we cry. Every frame, every lore opens up a mythic door. Family fight.
And then, after that long montage ended, we were finally released from jail once again. I don't think we go back again after this. After leaving the jail cell, we come down to get our loot that we threw away. It's still ours after all. After returning home, Bird then worked on sorting the loot. Then he moved to construction, followed by some training regiments. You see that incredibly large bone structure cluster thing off in the distance over there? Yes, we were going to go there because there were some things that I thought were cool looking at a distance. Hindsight, it was incredibly boring. There were some big things, but nothing actually happened and we made it back safely. It's not even worth showing, but I wanted to just mention it real fast. Next up on the agenda is to head back to Monk Mountain. It's time to check in and make sure everyone is okay. Upon arrival, everything was exactly as I remembered it. Beautiful. Okay, as beautiful as the desert can get, but it was peaceful because monks are powerful and they protect their place incredibly well. Next, we visited the bar. It still reminds me of PC. I miss that little robotic fox. It was also in the upper floor of this beautiful bar that we met our next friend, Meep. Now, it's important to note that Meep has some life goals. He wants to become the greatest martial artist of all time. He starts out with all ones on his stat. He's weak, but he wants to become a powerful martial artist. We're gonna help him do it. So, we seek out the guidance of the god of monks. Who better to train Meep than a god of martial arts? So, in accordance to the god of monks' decree, Meep and Bird began to train. They needed to get way stronger in order to simply survive in this deadly world. Some time passed, and Bird decided he needed to do some things other than train. He needed to try to recruit. Manpower was severely lacking, and they needed more allies. However, recruitment was going absolutely nowhere. That was until I winked at this monk, and she agreed to join the group. Look at us go. PC would be so very proud. From here, the group set out on an adventure. It was time to have some fun. Oh, that's the wrong way. Let's go another direction. There was much running, and well, to be honest, very little danger to be worried about. That was until... There may be luscious, wet, delicious water, but there is also something far more deadly than anything you could ever imagine right here in these swamps. In the distance is an unbelievable creature, a mutant blood spider with an unparalleled stat of 450 strength. The thing is a monster. Look at it, it's terrifying. Not only can this creature one-shot us, but it can outrun us as well. And it is, in fact, heading straight for our group. Fortunately, the mutant blood spider gets distracted by something else off in the distance. I don't know what it is, but it just saved our lives. Now, we are still in crazy danger. A Beak Thing just dropped from heaven. We are in so much danger. Our only choice is to fight. And so, the battle against the Beak Thing had begun. And to my absolute shock, we killed it. The group then decided to head back to Monk Mountain. It was getting a bit too dangerous out here. It was then, to my shock and horror, we suddenly fell under attack by another Beak Thing. It came out of nowhere. Maybe it flew from heaven again, I don't know. But within a heartbeat, disaster struck. Meep went down hard, losing a leg in the process. Now he's bleeding out, and we are wondering, will he survive this? But before Meep could be given medical attention, the Beak Thing had to be dealt with. After slaying the creature, Bird and the Elder Monk were able to get Meep healed up some, and then back to the bar where he could rest comfortably until he was fully healed again. From here, Bird began making plans for the future. The biggest goal was to wipe out the slave traders close by, but for that, he would need allies. They would need to find more people. On top of that, we need to find some robotic parts. We're currently missing a few limbs between our teammates. That needs to be resolved as soon as we possibly can. For now, we will wait patiently, biding our time. And in episode 5, we are going to become far, far stronger. We start off episode 5 of our surviving 100 days in Kenshi with the Bird of Passage, the Elder Monk, and Meep, who is being carried by the Elder Monk due to his injuries. The trio leaves the village safely, heading across the desert's expanse, re-entering the bone fields, and there it is, in the distance, their beautiful city, their home. Upon arrival, the trio is met with a slight problem. See, Bird forgot to take off his armor, which is stolen from a guard in the city. So we got mugged by the guards and were arrested. But Meep was left alone in the desert close to the city. But he has missing leg and an arm, and he can't walk on his own. So then he had to crawl back, and we threw our stuff out, and it's been a nightmare. It's been really rough. But hey, we're back in jail. That's what you wanted to see, right? But hey, look at the bright side. As you can see, Meep has made it back to the city, and of course, but he made it back to the city, and he's making his way back to base. From here, Meep made it back into base. He locked up and stored the loot that he was able to grab that was thrown out during the arrest. And please take note that Meep, missing an arm and a leg, is unable to do anything at all. He cannot sit, he cannot train, he cannot do anything other than eat and just lie on the floor. So he's very limited right now until we can find him robotic arms and legs. And guess what? Our beautiful monk elder is now freed from jail. We can actually do some things now. The first order of business when the sun arose was to send the elder monk out to recover our dropped gear. And yes, I did absolutely panic during the arrest, so I threw everything on the ground. Everything. It was bad. I'm sorry. After recovering the loot, the elder monk headed back into the city. It needed to be stored safely away. Afterward, the elder monk went out for a bit. She visited the bars, attempting to recruit some friends. Unsuccessful, she ended up running into this little fella here. His name is Bonk. And Bonk did not wish to join the group. He was being a bit weird, saying weird things about hives and not wanting to join a hive. But then he wanted to join a hive. So then we brought over Meep, who is also a hiver. And guess what? Bonk joined our group. We have a new friend. After many failed attempts at more recruitment, the group went out. It was time to go do some perusing. Nothing of any significance was found, but hey, it is always fun to window shop per se. Some time passed and the group returned home. Now comfortably home, Bonk began to do some research, and the elder monk began building additional training dummies. Hours passed by, and after his research was complete, Bonk came up to assist with the training dummies. I might have gone a little overboard with how many there are, but hey, we need them to become stronger because we have goals. And in order to successfully complete those goals, we need strength, which means we need to train. It is now time for a long training session. Training montage, perhaps. Hehehe. Psych! The only montages we have in these videos is for jail time. Time passed, and Bonk continued doing more research. So, eventually, we're going to have to make an alternate base somewhere, likely near the monk village. Low on materials, Bonk and the elder monk went out to purchase some more. They had to wait until daybreak, but were eventually let in and were able to purchase the items they needed. And now, with an inventory full of newly purchased items, it was time to head home. While having some fun around the house, I noticed that Bird had been freed from jail. Look, he's home again! After his return home, Bird suited up. He then began to train. It was time to become far, far stronger. Not just Bird, but the entire group, minus Meep, trained as hard as they could. They didn't ever want to be in a situation again where one of them could die. While the group trained, I checked out the map. I wanted to see where we could possibly go to get some robotic limbs, and the Ashlands, from what I heard, was the place to go. But before making that journey, we needed to train a lot more. And then we needed to get the supplies needed for the journey. But soon, we will in fact begin the journey to the Ashlands. After a successful food run, the elder monk returned home. It was time to store the food. and prepare the next phase of the adventure. Can you feel it? It's time for an adventure. As I said, adventure, adventure, adventure. Okay, I'm a little weird. We've established that a few times now. I'm also a little impatient. So let's just do this thing. Let's go! And go we did. Excited to see what is coming around the corner for us. Surely it won't be anything bad. Hold it right there. What's your reason for being here? I live here. But I do have stolen gear. Oh no. Oh no was in fact the correct response. For you see, I attempted to bribe the guard. Don't ever do that because it's dangerous. I'm sorry. No more jail time. No more jail time. No more jail time. Bonk went down. Oh crap. And so did Bird. Again. You know what? This isn't gonna stop us. Arrest? Jail? No. We still have one out. I'm not talking about Meep. I'm talking about the Elder Monk. She's gonna go on this mission alone. It's a big thing! Run away! This dang Beak Thing chased me forever until I decided to fight back. How about you scummy dogs? Okay, this is a monk fighting Beak Things, not a pirate fighting Beak Things. Things don't go well, okay? See, believe it or not, the Elder Monk was in fact losing, so I had her retreat. I told her to run back to the city where it was safe. Because, hey, we cannot lose her. That would be devastating to our team at this point. Luckily, the Elder Monk was able to lose them and return safely home. Now, darn it, cue a montage for the jail time.
I walk in dust, no name, no crown, a bleeding hand, the world shut down. They call me cursed, they call me weak, but I learned to fight before I could speak. Stealing my breath, fire in my veins, I trained alone through blood and chains. No gods above, no fate ahead, just echoes screaming in my head. Chains of the fallen, I wear them proud. I rise in silence, I scream out loud.
I might like montages a little too much. I do apologize for that. But in other news, Bird is set to be released. We're just kind of waiting on the guard at this point to actually release him, in which, in hindsight, I can tell you that happens in next episode. Speaking of next episode, we will be going to the Ashlands, or at least trying again, as a full unit. And our reason for going to the Ashlands, and I'm reiterating this again because it's important, is to try to get some prosthetic legs or arms for our people. That way they're able to do things again. Poor Meep is over there, he can't do anything. But next episode, we're going to attempt to fix that. And lastly, we are halfway done with this series. 50 days down. 50 more to go. And I'll see you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. You're sexy. Bye.